We will next see the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football on NBC, hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Their kryptonite. Remember that last year?
Yeah, I think the Ravens might have lots of kryptonites this year. The Ravens. I think they got a piece of kryptonite up their butt last night, as you would say. Yeah, they do. I mean, again, the Raiders, awesome, great win. To me, the story of the night. And I'm not trying to take away from the Raiders, but Baltimore's been at the top of the mountain in the NFL for the last 2-3 years. I mean, we expect them to be a Super Bowl contender. That's not a Super Bowl contending football team, what we saw last night. No, it's not. I don't know any other way to say it. We know you have the injuries at the running back position. The pass offense, Lamar looked good. I mean, he made a lot of appropriate throws. I don't know. I got to watch the film more, but I don't know if I saw any new wrinkles or new ideas from that pass offense to make me think, well, this is going to be different this year from the Ravens. And then most concerning about the Ravens is their defense. And, Mike, this is something I broke down on my podcast. It's part of the reasons I think I had the Ravens as the number 7 seed in the playoffs to predict the year. The Ravens have personnel issues on the defensive side of the ball. There's no other way to say it. As you saw last night, they are incapable of pressuring the quarterback with 4 people. They're not capable. The front 4 has passed its prime. They really are. There's no guy off the edge that scares you, and maybe the Jason Oweh from Penn State, the end of the first-round pick, maybe he can be that guy. He doesn't start yet, but they're a team that has to blitz to get to the quarterback now. And you don't have the same cover guys you did, especially without Marcus Peters, and no Jimmy Smith either, to where Wink Martindale's got some work cut out for him, the defensive coordinator. He's not going to be able to play the same defenses he's been playing the last few years in Baltimore. They're just undermanned, and Marlon Humphrey can't cover all these guys. One play he's on Renfro, and then he's on Waller, then he's on Ruggs, then he's back to Waller, then he's on Renfro. And he'll match up against the best player as much as they possibly can, but it's the down-the-line matchups that don't make sense, and I'm going to be interested to see where this goes with the Ravens. I think they're going to lose a handful more games than we're used to seeing them lose this year.
The offense had been besieged by injuries prior to the season, running back after running back after running back. You mentioned Marcus Peters, but they still have Lamar Jackson. Here he is from last night talking about his fumbles, and by the way, he's only the 4th player since 1980 to lose a fumble in both the fourth quarter and overtime of a game. Here is Jackson on his miscues.
That tipped me off. I hate fumble. I hate any type of turnover. But the first one that tipped me off because we had them right. It was right down there. They left punch zone. They could have scored right then and there. That tipped me off. Then the last one, just 2 hands on the ball. Try to have 2 hands on the ball. Could have just took a sack if anything, but it happens.
It does happen, and here are the 2 plays where the ball got out. Now that's one where it was didn't lose the fumble. That's
issue
second
with the new
quarter.
running back. Right.
And they do a lot of creative things when they hand the ball off, and sometimes the ball is going to get tipped and it's going to pop out.
Sure.
Now, there's one where he ran the ball and he didn't cover it up, and he got hit, and out came the ball. That's in the fourth quarter when the Ravens were holding a 7-point lead. It opened the door to the Raiders tying it up at 17-all, and then he had the fumble we showed earlier in overtime. Chris, my big picture take on the Ravens, and it applies to the defense as well, but specifically as it relates to the offense, they remind me of the kid or the adult. Lots of people enjoy playing Madden. But when you sit down to play a game of Madden and you decide you're going to use more of the playbook than the 2 or 3 plays that you always use that you found a way to make work. You're not going to revert to those. You're going to be more expansive. You're going to do different things. You're going to be more unpredictable. And then, you sprinkle in those 2 or 3 plays that work, and you remember, hey, I had narrowed down to those 2 or 3 plays that work for a reason. And as the game goes on and as the stakes get higher, you find yourself only focusing on those 2 or 3 plays all over again.
Sure.
I feel like that's the Ravens offense. Like, hey, we want to throw it around. We want to do this. But when it comes down to it, all they want to do is let Lamar Jackson run the football because they know that that's their
bread and butter,
their play.
Yeah.
That's their bread and butter. It
right.
reduces the risk until it doesn't. But but I just feel like that's what they do. Same thing on defense. Hey, we're going to use that all-out blitz. We're going to, just like Madden. When do I use the all-out blitz? I want to use the all-out blitz. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. Even if they burn me on it, I'm still tempted to use it. I feel like the Ravens played Madden last night and lost and threw the controller at the TV.
Yeah, probably. You're right. I mean, yeah, that's pretty standard for any Madden. I hear my kid always doing that. He's always banging his controller on the desk while he's playing the game. Stupid controller. And I'm like, no, it's you. It's a stupid call. Change your playbook, Philip Simms.
No tapestry of profanity.
Well, there is,
Phillip
but
Simms?
I've already used my limit here in the first segment, so I'll try to be careful. Yeah, filled my quota, as Pete would say. But I hear you. You know, Mike, I mean, hopefully I get to sit down and watch that film a little today to give you a little bit more answers tomorrow or Thursday about, like, what actual plays we saw. But it did. It had that same feel to where, hey, here's a few wrinkles, but, you know, when they would show replays of pass plays and people downfield, I'd go, oh, that's the Ravens play. That's what they do right there. I don't know if that's anything new. So, yeah, Sammy Watkins is there. Hollywood Brown looked good. They couldn't get Mark Andrews involved in the game at all last night. In fact, he wasn't even out there for periods of times where I was just like, I wondered if he had an injury that he was dealing with. And then, you know, ultimately, too, you know, the run game started out good and dominant, but the Raiders, like, to your point, I think got a feel for those 2 or 3 run plays that they like, and we didn't really see any, like, legit handoff run plays work a whole lot in the second half. I mean, I think, you know, and again, maybe I'm forgetting it was a late night and it was a long day yesterday, but I think a lot of their rushing yards, at least in the second half, were more of scramble from Lamar Jackson more than anything, right? It wasn't like handoff or design quarterback run, which I also think is concerning, which also I think leads to, you know, nothing's working. Now let me try to make magic happen and get a first down, and I'm getting tackled, and I'm going to dive, and, oh, somebody hit me as I was diving, and now I fumble. That's what he's going to have to be worried about this year, is not trying to do too much, because I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be as dominant as we've seen in years past. Everybody's seen a lot of these runs now. A lot of teams have stole them. The quarterback runs, everything around Lamar, all of that, and we know the passing game from Greg Roman is one of the big questions. Is there enough diversity, enough ideas, enough schemes and things to keep defenses off kilter?
Kilter.
Yeah, kilter. Thank you. So we'll see where it goes. I got a lot of questions about the Ravens, though, after that game. I know they fought hard, but it's not the same Ravens team we've seen the last 2 years.
Intriguing bookend to the Thursday night game, because I raised the question initially when we were breaking it down on Friday as it relates to the final drive of the Cowboys that put them ahead late. Did they take enough time off the clock? And when you go back and look at it, they really didn't have the luxury of taking time off the clock. They were just trying to stay alive and stay in field goal range, and, as the case may be, get back in field goal range after they got pushed back by a holding penalty. The Ravens last night, when they set themselves up to go ahead 27-24 on a long Lamar Jackson run, they kind of went into a very predictable, protective, don't screw anything up, don't throw. Throwing the ball is not even a thought. Just grind it out. We've got Justin Tucker, whose range goes up to 70. We're in position to just, kick the field goal, and surely we can trust our defense with 42 seconds left. And they couldn't. And that's the bottom line. For all the stuff in overtime that was so damn compelling, the Ravens blew their chance to make it a walk-off win at the end of regulation.
Yeah.
They just blew it. And I'm going to go back and watch that very carefully and see where the seconds were squandered that could have been burned off the clock and made it even more impossible. But it gets back to that fundamental lack of this is what should piss David Carr off, sorry, Manchester, more than anything else. I really do feel like the Ravens emanated a lack of respect for Derek
hear you.
Carr.
I get you. I hear you. Yeah, I think I'm not going to say it was Derek Carr.
Did you think the Raiders were going to – I mean, was it one – because we know the feeling on Thursday night.
Right.
Cowboys went ahead, 124 at a timeout.
Right.
Tom Brady's going to do this. Did you say to yourself, 42 seconds, no timeouts, but I know Derek Carr is going to go down and do this?
Well, not to the extent of Tom Brady, but from the way the fourth quarter had looked, really the whole second half, And the fact that, like we said, the only drive the Raiders were really stopped on was that one where they got down there in like fringe red zone area and missed the 4th and 1. I thought, yeah, I did. Because you could see that Wink Martindale was panicked because he was going, man, when I rush 4, their offense is good enough, and Carr is good enough to where he's going to find an 8-yard completion, a 5-yard completion. They're going to just keep moving the ball down the field. So, yeah, I did feel pretty confident that they could get down there. I did, just because I knew that the Ravens were handcuffed to a degree. They were gonna do something, to pressure or force the issue. And, yeah, I had that feeling a little bit. It's not to the same extent of Tom Brady, but I do think your point's real. I do think the Ravens just kind of thought, and this is what they do. We're going to overwhelm you. We're going to get a lead, and then we can just call all these crazy defenses, and it'll overwhelm you more. And they never, even up 14-0, after that drive there by the Raiders to make it 14-7, you got a sense like, oh, the Raiders got it now. They're settled in, and they got answers to the test. And watch out. And really, from that point on, they were really impressive. And, yeah, the Ravens' defense, I didn't have much faith in it, after that point.
One last point, and it's not in the outline. I'm going to kind of freelance here. We mentioned it yesterday afternoon on PFTPM. It was a Monday splash report from Shefty because ESPN had the game last night. This notion that Lamar Jackson didn't get the financial security from his second contract because he's so immersed in football because he doesn't have an agent. Look at how he got hit last night.
Yeah, that's
Look
right.
at how he throws his body into the fray.
Yeah.
Lamar, get yourself an agent and tell your agent to get the deal done before Sunday night. Get your protection now. This plays into the Ravens' hands. And this myth building of, oh, he's so immersed in football, it's not anything to be proud of. It's not anything to admire. It is not smart. He is playing Russian roulette with his financial future because if he gets himself injured, the Ravens will suddenly be immersed in waiting for him to get healthy again before they ever even consider giving him the money that he would get if he'd take a stand now. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm on record over and over again. Players representing themselves have fools for clients. Yes, you get 100%, but the 100% you get is often, if not always, a lot less than what you would get if you would just take 97 or 98.
Yeah, right.
You get a hell of a lot more with 97 or 98 if you have someone doing it for you. He should have had that deal done before last night's game, and after the way he got pretzeled and twisted and hit and banged around, he should do everything he can, hire an agent now, and tell that agent, I want my contract by 8:20 p.m. Eastern on Sunday night.
I'm listening, Mike. I mean, amen to that. I hear you. I mean, it's come on. And especially in a year like this where it looks like they might have to ride the offense harder than ever. And he's not going to have, the break to say like, oh, I'm not going to risk my body. It's not in him. It's just like we saw last night. And when it's go time, it's go time. And when we're down, he tries to be Superman. And I love him for that. I do. But, yes, there is no quarterback that plays a more physical brand of football than Lamar Jackson. He's been fortunate. He's amazing, the fact that he hasn't been hurt already. It is absolutely amazing. But, yeah, I'm with you. You're an MVP caliber quarterback. You're a superstar. I know you're not an MVP superstar agent. That's one thing I know. If you are, damn, you're one of the most talented guys I've ever seen, if you can do both. Holy crap. But I'm with you. I mean, again, $97 million out of the $100 million is still really damn good, and it'll protect yourself. And, of course, you've always explained it. There's other nuances that these agents put in the contract that, yes, the players are not going to understand and be able to figure out. And that's no disrespect to Lamar Jackson or anybody else out there. I wouldn't be able to figure it out either. I'm just a dumb blonde from New Jersey. So, I'm with you. But I would hope that he puts a little pressure on that situation.
In my prior life, my business card said attorney and counselor at law because on one hand, you need somebody who's going to go fight for you. On the other hand, you need somebody who's going to tell you what you need to hear and help you make decisions. Right. And he needs an agent not just to negotiate with the Ravens. He needs an agent to tell him how it is, how it needs to be, and what he needs to do to protect himself and his family because he really is playing with fire here. There is no other way to put it. And anyone who disagrees with me, that's fine. We have learned you can both sides anything in today's climate. You're wrong. if you disagree with me. He's playing with fire. We saw it last night. He needs to get himself an agent. It's for his own good, and he should do it this morning when they get back to Baltimore.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.